Hi, this is Erin, and welcome to Everything EFL, my little podcast about English language teaching and other teachy stuff too. Credit and honourable mentions will be given during the episode or in the show notes. Let's crack on. Hello, you gorgeous teacher. If you are new, you are most welcome. And if you are not new, if you are one of my gorgeous, lovely, regular listeners, hello again. How are you? Delighted you're here. Seriously, guys, more and more people are listening to the podcast, and that makes me so happy. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to each and every one of you. And I sincerely mean that. I'm so happy that people are listening to this podcast and hopefully getting some sort of enjoyment out of it. And I pray that last week's episode about RuPaul did it for you. I'm on holiday, okay? This is pre-recorded. And yeah, I wrote this episode ages ago when me and Shane first decided to do the podcast. And I suppose I should issue a warning. If you've never used the coursebook New English file, this is going to make no sense to you whatsoever. So, I mean, you know, by all means listen, but you're not going to get much out of it. And I also want to say, this is a disclaimer, haven't done one of those since the days of me and Shane. This episode has no educational value whatsoever, okay? I'm literally just going to take the piss for however long it takes me to read my notes. We are delving into the sweeping, much-loved, epic, romantic saga that is the abomination of a relationship that is Rob and Jenny from New English File. Unless you've been living under a rock, you'll have used New English File and gone down the road of, you know, their first dates, confusing American shoe sizes, buying paracetamol, Rob's irritating university flatmate, and finally, Jenny's irrational jealousy and a mad proposal in a busy street. So this week, I attempt to answer all the questions you've been asking yourself for the last 5 years or so. Why does Rob's annoying mate Paul act like a total twat? Did Jenny say yes? Could they not have hired any better actors? Did Rob secretly have it off with Holly and Kerry, thus proving Jenny's suspicions all along? Will Rob ever get used to asking for a different shoe size? And why is Jenny such an insufferable bitch? This week, guys, is Rob and Jenny. Rob and Jenny. Okay, so let's start with the elementary book, shall we? Not much happens. They're just getting to grips with the basics of the English language, although he does woo her with a double espresso, and in turn she mocks him for his choice of shirt, which he had to buy because she spilt coffee all over him. Surprise, surprise, Jenny starts moaning about the coffee in the hotel. She's never fucking happy, is she? Rob takes her to the office, which is blatantly a language school, and I think they even roped in the receptionist, and she meets her pervy boss. Jenny starts reeling Rob in, though. Unfortunately, the most dramatic thing that happens is on page 42 when Jenny knocks Rob and spills coffee all over him. But Jenny, she's one of those women, she starts all nicey-nicey, you know. She's lulling Rob into this false sense of security and batting those huge, great big blue eyes. And then before he knows it, he's balls deep in it and his confidence has been slowly eroded due to Jenny's constant nitpicking and disapproving looks. Didn't take much, though. I think he's a bit of a wet fart to begin with, to be honest. Okay, so what happens next? Rob's creepy boss asks her out to dinner and Rob is pissed. But he's got nothing to worry about because at the restaurant, you know, I've got a feeling this episode was written before Me Too became a thing. She doesn't really pull him up on his disgusting behaviour. Yeah. Oof. Anyway, Jenny tells Rob her boss Barbara wants him to go to New York for a month and... yeah, right, Jenny, you engineered this whole thing, love. We know it. You smelt weakness and you went in for the kill. So Rob plays a hero and brings her phone to the airport and they have a little kiss on the cheek. It's all very sweet. In the next book, things get a little bit more exciting as their command of English develops. Things get interesting as Holly appears on the scene. Now, we all know how Jenny feels about other females. Do you think she got burned in the past? She reeks of insecurity, doesn't she? I mean, they're not even a couple yet, and she's all over her. So the action then ramps up when Rob gets the wrong shoe size. Oh, page 42. And then he decides to go running. Oh, honestly, the drama never stops. So they go running, and Rob practically vomits because he's so unfit, and he blames it on a cold. But that kind of segues nicely into a pharmacy roleplay dialogue. Jenny then goes in for the kill by inviting Rob to her apartment. And this is where things really fall apart for me in terms of realism. No man would ever refuse a meal and a shag. Sorry. He's all like, oh, I'm sick and tired. And it's like, right. And then she kind of plays hard to get with the I'm too busy for relationships. It's all very weird. I mean, just look at the picture on page 59. Jenny, she's a real manipulator, isn't she? Like, on page 74, Rob meets her. I think this is pre-in or in. I'm getting my books confused. But anyway, Rob meets her for their first date and he's late. So instead of just sort of going, oh, it's okay, she makes a sarcastic comment and then says something about, maybe you have time to meet up with Holly again. Gosh, she's such a cow. But like, instead of telling her to fuck off, he just takes it and kind of admits his feelings for her. And this is really kind of the beginning of a slippery slope for Rob's self-esteem. And in that final episode of the book, whatever one it is, it ends on a classic tale of misunderstanding, a reverse Romeo and Juliet, if you will. So Rob's about to leave. Is he going to? I can't even remember where they are now. New York? Don't know. Anyway, Jenny suggests moving to London and Rob says, oh, you can't do that. But Jenny emails her boss and tells her she's quitting. And then Rob's offered a job in New York and Jenny dashes to the phone and tells her boss to delete the email. And she does. It's like, right, of course you wouldn't read the email first. Anyway, so next book, either in or upper in, I'm not sure. But now their English is pretty good. So they decide to have a very uncomfortable dinner with Jenny's parents. But fear not, guys. Rob wins her dead over by talking about jazz musicians. Monica, I think that's Jenny's friend, gets engaged, and obviously Jenny's really jealous because, I imagine she hates it when her friends are happy. Enter Paul. Now, Paul is probably the best character in it because, like, it's just so bad. The whole thing is just so bad. So Paul is Rob's mate from university, and he is an unbelievable dickhead, and not surprisingly, Jenny instantly and absolutely fucking hates him. I'd say this is where Rob and Jenny hit their first rocky patch. So Paul is like a girlfriend's worst nightmare. He takes the usually kind of docile and sensible Rob out all night and gets him completely pissed, and Jenny's really, really pissed off. And then they meet Kerry, who Jenny hates as well because she's jealous of her, who was like a musician from an early episode or something like that. But like, it's so funny to watch because like Jenny just can't make it any more obvious that she hates Paul's guts. It's brilliant. Anyway, Rob is so hungover he can't face the meeting. I think we've all been there. So Jenny does the nice girlfriend thing and she covers for him. It's probably the only nice thing she actually does through the whole saga. So, credit due, fair play to her. So that's that. And then in the final episode, Paul kind of totally stirs the pot, right? And he makes Jenny believe that Rob's buggering off back to London and kind of leaving, and then Rob finds out that Paul did this and he goes really high pitched and then tells Paul to fuck off. And then the drama carries on at work and it all culminates in Jenny having a relationship crisis, and Rob chases her down the road and does the only thing you can do if you're insecure and desperate at a time like this. He gets down on his knees, he proposes, and he sets himself up for a lifetime of misery. Thus ends the tale of Rob and Jenny. I do think that, like, if it was a proper TV show and they had, like, Golden Globes for EFL video lessons, I can imagine, like, some categories going something like this. Worst actor, Rob's mate Paul. Most annoying character, Jenny. Wettest character, Rob, obviously. Most pointless episode, most of them. Biggest meltdown, I mean, Jenny is a contender. She has a lot of them. But at the end of the day, I think it's when Rob tells Paul to fuck off. It's the only time he ever shows any balls in the whole saga. Honourable mentions? None that I can think of. I am spent. So yeah, that's Rob and Jenny. I'd love to know if I've kind of missed anything. Did I miss any award categories there? What's your favourite video episode lesson from Rob and Jenny? I'd love to know. I'd love to know what you guys think and, like, how many times you've used the damn things. Anyway, I'll be back in a week or two. Not sure yet of the times at the moment. I'm a little bit tired. I've been teaching all day. And, yeah, this will probably be the last of the kind of non-EFLE episodes for a bit. And I will be back very soon with a slightly more sensible episode, I suppose. Maybe. Okay, guys, thank you for sticking with me to the end. I absolutely am so happy that you guys are listening to this, please share this episode or share anything on my social media onto your social media. Stories seem to be pretty good for that, actually. And, engage with me, DM me. What do you want me to do an episode on? Just let me know. Let me know any ideas you have, because it's always good to have inspiration from other places. See last episode about RuPaul and RuPaul's Drag Race. Okay, I've been talking for long enough. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. Goodbye. Take care. Look after yourself. And share the love, guys. Share the love.